Okay, doing one today because I was in a, let's say, discussion on Facebook about CB amplifiers back in the late 70s, early 80s, back during the CB boom, and back when CBs were tearing up TVs and the FCC was in the case. Back then, FCC was busting stations and busting manufacturers, and manufacturers were trying to do the mad scramble to legally sell their amps and not get busted by the FCC. So this is just Blackcat. I know DNA did it, and I got a few more schematics and stuff on DNA and some of the stuff they did. I know Pride came out with the KW1 instead of the DX300. Some of these are original, some of these are Xeroxes from original, some of them may be enlarged a little bit, but this is a mix match of some of the schematics and stuff I got, and these are showing some of the stuff that Blackcat did to get by the FCC. This first one here, this is just a sales page for a JB150 RB. They called it a receive booster, right? They did not sell it as an amplifier because they couldn't get past the FCC, even though it makes an awful, terrible receive booster. It didn't work. I almost killed myself on one back in about 78. I had a JB12 150 that was set out to be a receive booster, and I was fooling around trying to figure out how it worked, and hit my finger in there, and I didn't know what arc was at the time, and it arced and almost killed me. And come to find out later that it was set up as a receive booster. This is a JB12 pamphlet on a receive booster, and over here is a description page on the JB12 receive boosters and how to use it and all that. Then this line is showing you basically how the relay works on a receive booster. And by the way, if you're using it as a receive booster and it works terrible as one, and if you have it off and you transmit through it, even if it's off, unplugged, in standby, well, I guess in standby it's okay, but if you have it off and you transmit through it, it kills the amplifier receive booster. But anyway, that's another story. So anyway, it's showing this relay here of how it's connected for the receive booster. Then, by the way, they just say, hey, this here is how the old JB12s were hooked up and connected. So if you move these wires around, from here to look like this on a JB12 150, if you move the wirings, to the different points here, to match that, it's going to be an illegal, 10, 11, 12 meter amplifier. If you do this from that, that's basically what they're saying. It's like, hey, this was the your receive booster you got, and this is, amplifier of, how to hook it up. So, voila, we are selling you a legal receive booster, and use according to the FCC rules and regulations on your receive booster. But by the way, if you move it over here, it's an 11 meter amplifier. By the way, this is an original page here. That's an original, not even a copy of a JB12 manual that supposedly came with it. Little warranty thing you pull out and all that. Here's another one. This is just basically a sales fire, and they're saying for export models, non-USA, this is what they do and how they work and all that other stuff. So over here, I think this might have been out of CB Tricks or something. I don't think this was from Blackcat with all of them in one. But anyway, here goes some do's and don'ts. Or maybe I put that together a long time ago. I don't know. I used to be really into this, but people started copying my work and selling it, so we stopped working on them. So, the paperwork and all that so much. But anyway, getting off subject. Do's and don'ts. JB75 don't move this here, don't do that there, you know, basically, you know, change around the relay like that. Well, 7581 tube, 8472 version of the JB75, the popular JB76, you know, don't remove the shorting wire, the 6.5 turn, and short out the 2.5 turns. Don't remove the 15 picofarad capacitor and replace with a 68 picofarad capacitor, because that would make it into an illegal, again, 10-11 meter amplifier. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to be illegal, right? You want to keep it as a receive booster. Here's another original schematic or page schematic operator manual of JB76. And if you see there, do not remove that shorting wire, yada yada. Don't do it. Don't do it. That will, you know, change this into an illegal 10-11 meter amplifier again. That sticker is from Blackcat. This again was an original manual, came from Blackcat for the JB76. I just put this one up here as a sales flyer, JB76. Or no, JB200, you know, earlier JB76, and they tried to sell it as, again, a 6 meter amplifier. I highlighted that. Now, mind you, it is said that 8417, which is a version of the 6L6 audio tube, they won't go up to 6 meters. If they do it, they don't do it well at all. They're not made for that. For 6 meters, you're getting up in frequency around 52 megahertz, if I remember right. 52, 54, something like that. That audio tubes, like the 8417, with the plate coming out the bottom instead of the top, that plate coming out the bottom, you got interstage capacitance, and they interfere with each other. They're really not made for that. So I'm not sure this thing would work at all on 6 meters. But anyway, they tried to market the JB200 as a 6 meter amplifier. And again, the do's and the don'ts to change it to the 10-11 meters on it. Now the Blackcat JB2000, they never came up with mods for it that I know of per se. But they sold 3 versions of the JB2000 amplifier. They sold the 1080 there, 10 through 80 meters, which they, like Palomar and some other ones did, they stuck 10 through 80 meter bands in there and a band switch and some more coils in there. And with the 10 through 80 meter amplifier, it didn't have a driver tube. So they marketed this as a 10 through 80 meter amp. It's not a CB 11 meter amp. It's high drive. You know, it's got no driver in it. You need 100 watts drive. Well, there it goes. Drive required 25 watts AM, 100 sideband. So it need 100 watts drive to get it going. It's not a CB amp. It's got 10 through 80, you know, is it 80 or 40? 10 through 80 meters in it. So that was one version. I'm going to go over here to the second version. They sold one as a 2006. It did have the driver in it, but it was a 6 meter amplifier. This doesn't work on 10, 11 meters. It's a 6 meter amplifier. What are you talking about? FCC, get out of here. You can't get us. You know, we're selling this and marketing this as a 6 meter amplifier. It won't work on 10, 11 meters unless you do some mods. And that's not our fault if people want to do the mods. And that one was closer to the original JB2000 1011. And they did sell this one before the FCC got them as the JB2000 1011. 10 and 11 meters. You know the FCC didn't like that at all, right? And again, that's the one with the driver, already settled for CB. Didn't need to do a thing to it, but the FCC came in and said no, no, no. So Blackcat went from the JB 2010 11 meter, and they came out with the 10 through 80 meter Blackcat with the ham bands in it, and then a single band, but it was 6 meters, and the 6 meter needed to be modded. And the 10-11 meter, any amplifier, unless it's got a special trap, like a TVI trap for it, 11 meters, will work on 11 meters. So the 1011 meters didn't have a trap. It would work on 11 meters. And so, but again, it's got the ham bands. It needs a driver. Same with the Pride KW1. All it is a DX300. They put a dummy load on the input, so you got to drive it with 100 watts instead of 4. And they say it's already got 10 through 80 meters in it, and it takes a 100-watt drive. It's not a CB amp. What are you talking about? So anyway, DNA did the same. Pride did some. I don't know who else. I don't know if Palomar actually did that. None that I could think of. But anyway, that was a sign of the times back then. CB amplifiers trying to get past the FCC, because back around 76 through about 82, FCC was a mother. They were getting manufacturers, closing manufacturers down, busting people, giving people $50,000 fines and all that. One of my buddies got busted at a swap back then. Had a table. I had a table separately, and the FCC came up to him all dressed nice and, hey, this work on 11 meters, and one of the guys at the table, yeah, dude, bop, $10,000 fine. My buddy didn't have no money. He had to get a hardship and got it reduced or something, but anyway, they came to my table after that. I was into this stuff as a kid. I was probably 17 years old, something like that. Had a ham table and had some amplifiers on the table. They came up, hey, this amplifier work on 11 meters, well-dressed guys. And, hams don't dress well, right? Kind of young, not old, raggedy hams. And I said, no. And it's like, well, what are these? And I'm those amateur radio amplifiers. They're like, well, what frequency they work on? I'm making this all up on the fly. I said, well, this one is 6 meters. This one's, 10 through 80 meters. This one here is 2 meters. Making it up now, mind you. This one's here is 6 and 10. This one here is 10 through 40. And he was like, oh, you don't have anything that'll work on 11 meters? I went, no. They went smart, and they walked away. And that's when later I found my buddy had got busted by him already. He didn't come to tell me. I guess he was, a little bit out of it himself. But anyway, that's my story. Tram Doctor been around a long time. True story. All right, that's it for this one. Bye.